Tim Williams, 3. Bekicele, 4. Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, 5. Ria Pierre, 6. Khomotso Phahlane, 7. Lesetja Mutiba, 8. Kehla Sithole, 9. 9 names, 26 years. Only one has started and completed a term. That was the first one. None of Selebi, Williams, Cele, Mkhwanazi, Pierre, Phahlane, Motiba, Sithole. In fact, since the disgraced Jackie Selebi left, 2 more were offered permanent positions in Cele and Pierre, and both did not finish. Each and every single one of these names, except for 5 left the service dishonorably. The incumbent, Sithole, is under pressure from SAPU because they are of the view in a press statement released yesterday, General Sithole's lack of leadership drowning the police finances. Good evening, Mr. Mpukunika. How are you?
Good evening, Songezo, and good evening to SAFM listeners.
This creates for very sober reading, and worse, we cannot at all as a society pretend we are safe. We are far from being safe. It is true that the SAPS is in shambles from just what little I have said, from a leadership perspective certainly, and the trickle-down effect that that would have.
Yes, we have been talking what we call the Commission of Inquiry, the Judicial Commission of Inquiry, to help the ministers who takes over this unit, this department, to understand what are the dynamics of this department, what are the problems facing this department, so that when they take over this department, they know exactly what to do. We had problems with the previous national commissioners, and I think the union had spelled out very clearly in the public space, and we are not shy to do that because we have got a duty, Songezo, a duty that seeks to make sure that South Africans are safe, the interests of the state are looked after. And in return, we have got a job as a union to create conditions which are conducive for our members to be working, to create labor peace, and to make sure that we play an oversight role. And we're doing that with exemption. And now, all of the issues which we have raised on that statement, it emanates from the following. The police have got 5 key programs. The first program is called administration. The second one is called VISPO.
VISPO?
The third one, VISPO, yes. It's a shortcut
Visible
for
policing.
Yes.
Yes.
The third one is called detection. That's where you find detective services,
yes,
elite unit, DPCI there. Then you've got, and forensic as well is there. And then the fourth program is crime intelligence. That's where you find overt and covert structures in there. The fifth one and the last is PSS, Protection and Security Service. That is where you find the presidential unit is there. You'll find, the diplomats. You find the people who protect very important people like the ministers as well. Now, these, to us, we refer to as the 5 key organizational objectives. Any national commissioner who takes over that post must know that he or she is going to be evaluated on those 5 key programs. And if we were to be asked today to rate the current National Commissioner of Police, out of these 5, we can give him only 2.
Being?
He's doing very well in crime intelligence. And I'll tell you why in crime intelligence. You will see even the setup that he has in his own office is intelligence-driven, which is very wrong. Crime intelligence has got funds which we refer to as overt funds, and the fund, operations which we refer to as overt and even covert.
Yes.
And under covert, you've got accounts which we refer to as SSA, which is referred to as Secret Service Account. And you have got an open account as well. So monies which are being utilized under overt, they are strictly scrutinized because everybody wants to know what that money has been used for. But the money that are spent, Secret Services account, you remember the former Divisional Commissioner for Intelligence, General Richard Mdluli, his biggest problem was with SSA. SSA is continuing to be a problem even today. Prior to the sitting of the NASREC ANC conference 2017, you will recall that there was a brouhaha where monies were supposed to be used to buy what we call the grabber machines. And the monies were very huge, sizable monies which were to be spent. And one of the officers from that environment have raised an alarm, and that officer was really taken through to clean up. They were trying to do that.
Is that officer still alive? Is the officer alive, yes or no?
He's still alive, yes.
Okay, thank you.
He survived to be moved out of the police, but we managed to secure his stay in the service, but no longer in that department.
Indeed.
Because they did not want his service anymore.
Sure.
Now, crime intelligence has got money. It's a lucrative department. Anybody who wants to play with money, that is the department that they can go and play it.
Yeah.
PSS, that's where you find the politicians now, the ministers.
Protection Security Service, yes.
Exactly. Now, that environment is the ministers, the members who are working under that department, they have to be well looked after, because if you don't do that, you will become very unpopular with the ministers, and there's a great likelihood that you will not stay there.
I see.
But because he's doing very well in there with those two departments, he's fine. Here is the danger now. Crime detection. That department
detection
is not
and
doing
forensics.
well.
Yeah.
Detection, program number 3. He's
Yes.
not doing well there. And the detective services, the numbers have even depleted from 27,000 to almost 16,000 to date as we speak. He's not giving them a priority, because to us, that is the priority that the priority must be given to those people so that they are able to investigate crime professionally. So you've got a budget that is being given to DPCI. DPCI's budget is managed by him. Then they decide what to give to DPCI. As you find DPCI, it's struggling today to get off the ground.
Directorate for Priority Crimes Investigations, right? DPCI, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
DPCI, that's the one which General Libya is heading today. Now, he needs money. He needs money to employ more detectives. He is running at 49% of the staff. The staff complement should be 100. He's at 49% as we speak.
So one officer has to do the work of 2.
Exactly. One officer has to do the work of more than 10. It's very critical there. Now, the budget is sitting with the National Commissioner as an accounting officer. Instead of us giving money directly to the directorate so that they are able to source their own, to procure their own needs, including the employment of the detectives in that environment. And for that matter, we're talking about specialists there. It's not happening.
Yes.
And that department is ailing terribly. It's not doing very well. Sendo Mewa's case, you know about it. You can talk about many other cases which people seek closure, and the department is not doing well there.
Sure.
Then you come to the second one, which is VISPOL. VISPOL, you know, this is the biggest department of the police. It takes the biggest budget of policing, because that's where you find proactive policing. Proactive policing, it's VISPOL itself.
Visible.
Yes, VISPOL. That's where you find the station personnel, the vans which are servicing South Africa, the specialized units, NIU, TRT, the task force, all of these units that you see, they are visible with your eyes. They drive visible cars. We call them, they are doing visible job, and they are proactive policing people. That department is struggling in terms of support when it comes to issues of supply chain, vehicles, when it comes to PPE during COVID time. They don't have those resources. The promotion, the placement of personnel, the deriving of the OD, the organizational design, it comes from that environment. So when we talk about the compensation of employees' budget, that budget lies right there. It's being managed by those people. It's managed to deal with people in those environments. And that is done by program number 1. Now, program number 1 has to make sure that the budget is cascaded evenly throughout programs, or 5 programs. Now, we will tell you tonight what are the problems that are happening, which makes us to look at it deeply and say it is disabling the police to do its work. It is the plans and the strategies which the National Commissioner of Police is putting in place. They are not yielding any results. And for as long as he's still in the helm of policing today, we don't see policing realizing its constitutional obligation of ensuring safety and security to all inhabitants.
Fantastic. I'm going to cut you there, Mhlega Zonke. Thank you so much. Essentially, then, we are, just to summarize what you have said and the nature of the discussion, because your statement yesterday essentially is an attack on the incumbent, General Sithole, because he is not up to the job required of a National Police Commissioner. Out of the 5 core competencies of the police service, and particularly his office, being administration, visible policing, detection and forensics, crime intelligence, and PSS, being protection and security services, you are satisfied with only 2 of the 5, let me call them elements, being specifically item 4, crime intelligence, and 5, being protection and security services. You are not happy with his administration, which has a severe impact on visible policing, which eats a major chunk of the SAPS itself, as well as detection and forensics. First of all, not only is there no capacity in terms of men and women on the ground, but equally the nature of the investigations themselves are compromised because of the limitation on manpower. Now, we are going to get, after this very short sting, we're going to get into the meat of the grub, and I'm going to use as reference the legacy instability within the force entity, which essentially is the... Could all of what you have said be a legacy of General Sithole? I mean, surely you cannot, in the between Nasrec and now, lose half of your force from 20, nearly half, from 27 to 16,000. This didn't happen in his term. Well, you mentioned Richard Mdluli, so if you like, the SSA in the covert operations of crime and intelligence, this is a weakness that is inherent to the SAPS, not necessarily because of him being the administrator now. I'm not dismissing anything that you have said. I'm simply adding to some of the challenges that you have noted and have pinned on Kehla Sithole, and I'm saying that's a little unfair of you because some of these are legacy issues.
Yeah. No, you see, if someone gives you an advice, it will remain advice. You either decide to implement it or you set it aside, but you take the consequences of any wrong or happenings that happens thereafter. In the National Commissioner, the current National Commissioner of Police, has been given an advice in the usage of the SSA to say that you cannot buy the grabber machines at these high costs. There are other mechanisms that we can use, especially the following of the supply chain policies which you have adopted, and to use the state funds in terms of the performance, the PFMA, the Public Funds Management Act,
Public Finance Management Act.
And then this officer who is giving you an advice, instead of treating him as gold, you then started charging him, pushing him out of the department. And when he was out, you then took the very same cent which you were told not to spend, and you go and buy this gadget. Today, IPD is investigating the very same charges, and then you take that decision on review, where we are saying the IPID says, give me this information so that we can see what has happened. Why didn't he say, in terms of the Constitution, it says that he shall investigate crime and alleged ones. Now, someone says there is a crime that has been committed. And if this crime is committed under this kind of information which you have, which is said to be classified, declassify this information so that we can deal with the investigation of crime. Why do you refuse as the National Commissioner of Police? Why do you refuse? If you know that your hands are clean, we want him to let loose that information so that we can investigate crime and deal with corruption. Because if people say there are corrupt activities, I don't think there is any National Commissioner of Police who will embrace that. He will want to get deeper into that. And IPID is helping him to do that.
Let me interrupt you because I do have contributions coming through. Can you make your second point? If you said that's one, it means there's a second one coming. Could you make that one rather brief, please? I do want to come to the callers.
Okay, the second one, it's just many, but I'll just make this one.
Sure.
You know when you come with an organizational design, you say, I want to change the police. This structure, I want it to respond to the issues of fighting crime. You want people to address, to help you when you do that. But when we advise you and you don't take an advice, you go on and then you remove people from their positions. You replace them with others. But when your main theme was to scale down on the budget and make sure that the structure responds positively on the fight against crime, what do? You continue to bloat the structure, and you even employ two people in one position. In other words, you are paying, instead of paying 1.6 million rand, you pay 1.6 million rand times by 2 for 4 posts.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Okay, I've got you. Think about this. This is the first question coming from me. Please just make a note of this, and then when you respond on the other side of the callers, you can respond to this question and whatever's going to be raised by the callers. Actually, I forgot that point. Sorry, but let's go to KGM. That point just ran away. KGM, good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening to your guest and to the listeners.
Yes, sir.
Straight into it. Firstly, the police service, which was we took over as a police force, only changed the names. It was never restructured. Your guest is making what sounds like valid points, but to me it's not. When you listen to his points, they are directed or targeted to the person, not the office. George Fivers understood the system. No matter how corrupt it was, it wouldn't have been visible because he was molded. You should look at his career history in the police service. The rest of the names you called were political appointees who got into the system that they do not understand. Therefore, my parting shot, they could not protect whatever action or lack thereof because of not even if you were to take him and make him a police commissioner, he would be embarrassed.
Who? Kuniga, the guest?
Umhlekazi.
Okay, well, he's going to respond to that.
If we were to appoint him now as a police commissioner, he will be embarrassed. The system will embarrass him in 2 years.
Very well. He's going to respond to that. Thank you very much for your thoughts, brother. Missed you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Babungonde, Sebulela Bautogo. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
I'll get right to it. Uganda, the first commissioner, if I heard correctly, was George Fivers in the first tenure of Mandela. Now, to my correction, he was not a career policeman, but however, knew what was doing. In other words, he was fit for purpose. Just like you would have a fridge, Pungane, and the fridge is there to keep the food from rotting. Right? Now, Pungane, there was a commissioner in the Western Cape called Mzwandile Petros.
Okay, I missed that, sorry.
Right? And I remember my customer who was a TRT, someone Kailisha. Now, he told me something that would make anybody proud, being an employee of a superior. He said, in one meeting with Nzondle Petros, he asked them in a group what it is that I must do, what it is that would make your job better. Do you want cars? Anything that you want. He said so. And this guy said the morale in the service at that time. Right? Now, question. Does the police service have somebody in their recruitment who would make sure when they recruit somebody that is fit for purpose? Pungane, I listen to the radio.
Thank you so much. Kosinathi in Durban. Good evening.
Good evening, Pungane, as well as your guest, Mr. Kwinana. Look, I think I must start with saying I think George Fivers was a career police officer when he was appointed Mandela's time.
Yes.
Two, there is extreme politicization of the entire service.
Yes.
There are many political appointments. Apart from the commissioners, in the service, there are many political appointments. And the third point, the appointment of the commissioners themselves, especially national commissioners. A civilian who is parachuted straight to the top of the echelon will not survive.
Like Ria Pierre.
Like Ria Pierre, like Jacques Levy. I remember Jacques Levy even remarked that Mapoisa call him Unokwaja. That's the term used by police, solely by police. And if you're not a policeman, you'll find it hard to supervise such people. Those people, I mean, the police, the entire system is designed in such a way that a constable is recruited straight to the force and rise up the ranks to being a commissioner of police, because he is well versed with all with the entire environment.
Sure.
He started from a constable, then up the ranks. That person understands the service completely. And these appointments, I must also add, Pungane, that these appointments, these political appointments, were made in the presence of one of the unions, including Mr. Kwinana, was there. As far as I'm concerned, all these appointments now he's complaining about, and I don't remember hearing the union voice opposing, especially political appointments, because such appointments put public lives in danger.
Excellent.
Let's
leave it there. I do want to correct you. You are talking to Mr. Mpho Kwinika, who is the chairperson of the South African Policing Union. So it's possible that you might not. I mean, I don't know if you know that it's Mpho Kwinika, not Kwinana, and I'm just worried that you are referencing Kwinana and speaking to Kwinika.
Sorry, Pungane.
And I just hope whatever you are saying about Kwinana is actually to and about Kwinika. Otherwise, Kwinika might not be in a position to respond to everything that pertains to Kwinana, if he or she even exists. But Siyabulela ba uNkosinathi, KGM has spoken, Ngonde has spoken, uNkosinathi has spoken. Your response to those, please, Mpho. Specifically, KGM and Tata uNkosinathi essentially agree on the fact that the legacy issues are there. It's a politicized space altogether, and those who are parachuted from outside the service into the top positions are not going to earn the respect of the career cops, so to speak. And then, of course, the recruitment process has to be called into question when you get all of these people who cannot even credibly finish their terms, much less not do anything which is against very much the morals of society, including but not limited to themselves being criminal and rogue within the service. How do you respond to these calls?
Yeah. Look, we don't form part of the appointment of national commissioners. And in fact, we are on record. We have been criticizing political appointments. And we were always referring to appointments which must be done in terms of the National Development Plan Vision 2030, which says that the President shall establish a committee of experts, a team of experts, who are going to do the interviews and recommend to the President 3 names of capable people, and then the President shall appoint 1 out of the 3. This is what the President have been doing with the appointment of NPA. You will remember the current incumbent that is sitting at NPA. It was done publicly. The appointment of the Chief Justice Mogoeng, of whom I felt so much pity the day when he was being interviewed. Today we've got the best Chief Justice in this country who stands firm, who stands his ground to make sure that the constitution of this land is being protected, the rights of people, you know. And I can go on and on with the way we have been handling the issue of the national commissioners in the past. But those police commissioners who have done very well, we have given them a pat behind their back. But those who have done very wrong, we have raised our views. So we are not party. I just want to say that we are not party to the appointment of the National Commissioner of Police.
You're running out of time. I need you to respond quicker, please, to some of the issues.
Okay. The other issues that we need to look at is the issue of appointment. Appointment of junior officers or any person that takes on an office, a higher office. That 204 from the crime intelligence, it must always be done, be completed before a person takes an office. That also includes to the recruits, people who are coming into the system. And the Z204 must be able to, this is what we call vetting. It must be able to tell you what kind of a person is this one. And then the police must only accept people that are clean, whose records are good, and then the people will have trust and faith in them.
Fantastic.
Then the issue of, the, what was this? What was that? The issue of morale. If you do good, you know, if an institution big as this one, it does not have what we call clear career pathing. Do you know that the police does not even have a promotion policy? Agreement 3 of 2018, it has caused so much furor in the police because only few elite people were appointed by that policy.
Let me engage you on that one, because I think this is essentially the issue that was raised by KGM. Your statement is tackling the player here, in the sense that it reads, if you were to get rid of General Sithole, suddenly it would be the silver bullet to all of these challenges. For instance, you say, why are they not being held to account? In other words, all these persons who are doing wrong, among other things. Because SAPU would like to warn the NPA not to allow itself to be used for ulterior and mischievous motives. These are issues in terms of institutional relationships that are now corrupted. Equally, you say SAPU calls on SAPS to allow General Pahlane and General Shezi to come back to their posts and perform what they are paid to do. Police regulations state clearly that disciplinary proceedings should be held within 90 days, or if there are compelling reasons, an extension could be granted. It is now close to 36 months of these top commanders enjoying full benefits without lifting a finger in performing their duties. The sooner General Sithole leaves the SAPS, the better. So not only do you want Sithole to leave, who's then in acting capacity, and he does not appoint the commissioner himself, so he's not in charge, other than the fact that of...
No.
One. Two, you want Pahlane to come back when there are these serious allegations hanging over his head. Your statement makes nothing of the fact that you are demanding, before he comes back, he might not be fit and proper, that there be a disciplinary inquiry itself. So institutionally, this place doesn't have any systems to self-correct, to regulate members, so that they can, as an institution, engage me and KGM and Babu Ngonde, and we find expression through these people. So the legacy issues are really what it seems are the issue here, more than they could be, Sithole.
No, but look, he knows. You know, he has been asked the question, why is Pahlane at home? He says he does not know. But if he does not know, whom does Pahlane account to? He accounts to him. Who has taken Shezi on departmental hearing? It's him. Why is Shezi still outside today? And why are people being appointed in their positions when these people are still here? You've got in Vispol, divisional commissioner there is General Masia. General Masia is acting TMS. They have brought in General Simpe at Vispol. But that Vispol position is not vacant. If you go to TMS, that position is not vacant.
All right.
If you go to forensic, that position is not vacant. Who is doing this?
Okay.
It's the current National Commissioner of Police. I am not playing him. I am playing his office. Unfortunately, it's him that is sitting there.
Okay, fine.
We need to fix this thing.
No problem. Let's take one more call. Mfundo in Sanin, then this conversation is over. Thank you so much. Good evening, Mfundo.
Mr. Mapete, good evening, sir. How are you?
Well, sir, how do you do?
I'm fine, thank you. Well, rather pained, actually. I'm listening to you, and it feels to me like you could very well be talking about any other department in government. They are all in tatters like that. And now the problems that are repeated to this particular one are actually the same for all of them. Cadre deployment, people with no history where they are being sent, and whatnot. It sounds to me that this is the same problems for all the other departments. So basically what I want to say is I think that it's government that needs fixing. If we were to fix, for example, this one department, we would still need to do the same for water and sanitation. We would still need to do the same for SASA, etc., etc. We need to fix government. The question, though, is government fixable?
Well, story for another day altogether. Is the SAPS fixable? Thank you so much, Mfundo, calling us from Zanin. Final comments from you, Mr. Kweniga.
We have written the letter to the President of the country on the 20th of March 2019. We have requested that certain conduct about the current National Commission of Police should be looked at. We have remanded the office yesterday to find out when are we going to have an audience with the President so that we can unpack those issues which we feel that are a problem. He is correct to say that, the previous caller is correct to say that the government must have a willingness to deal with issues which we are having here. And I think union building will be able to have the capacity to address issues of policing in this country.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Chairperson of the South African Policing Union, Mr. Mpho Kweniga, for your thoughts. It is quite clear that General Sithole, on his history and in that of the office, he's not going to make his time to the end. 2043, we continue.